What's up, you guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Let's Just Be Real podcast. I'm your host, Marissa Tonge. Thank you for tuning into another episode. What's up? How y'all doing? How y'all feeling this week? Happy Tuesday if you're listening to this on the day that it comes out. So, we are in our self-love and confidence series. Okay, right now, this is the third episode in this series. First one, we talked just generally about building your confidence, having more self love, what that looks like generally, right? And then the last episode, I had my girl Brittany on. We talked about yoga. We talked about how that's a form of self love. But we also just talked about like some myths, some stigmas surrounding yoga. So if you guys didn't catch that episode, make sure you go back and catch up, tune in, because that was a really good conversation. But today, we're going to be diving into the topic of self love, but we're going to be focused more on the topic of discipline and how discipline is a form of self love. When you go to look up the definition of discipline, because I did this, I like to always just fact check myself and make sure that I'm giving you guys the correct definitions or meanings of words, right? So I went on Google, I looked up the word discipline, and it actually had like three definitions, but the first one basically was the definition that we probably all think about when we hear the word discipline, right? Whether that means like being scolded or being corrected for something that we did wrong, or getting in trouble with like our parents when we were young, or getting in trouble in school, right? So discipline has like this weird, like negative energy around it, right? Like a lot of people think that it's a negative word, like it means something that doesn't feel good. Discipline is something that it doesn't feel right? It's not something that we're going to gravitate towards. And then there was the second definition of discipline, which I want to read to you guys. So this one says, actually, I'll read you both. So the first one is the practice of training people to obey rules or a code of behavior using punishment to correct disobedience. So that's what I was talking about, like lack of proper parental or school discipline. Like that was an example. Then we have the second definition, which is a branch of knowledge, typically one studied in higher education. So I wouldn't say that what we're going to talk about like is directly that second definition, but definitely more tied into that, right? Like more like branching out, getting more knowledge. But also, I want to dive into why self love really ties into discipline. Now, it's the new year. I'm pretty sure most of us have set intentions, goals, things that we want to do, things that we want to change, habits that we either want to let go of or adopt, right? And one of the key components in changing our lives for the better, for going after our dreams, for getting the dream job, the dream career, the dream relationship, the dream body, all that, right? Is discipline. That is the key component. And I think a lot of people miss that step, or they don't realize how much of the work that actually goes into doing those things and achieving those things is discipline. Like without discipline, right? There is no achieving, because at some point you have to be able to stay on track with yourself. You have to be able to commit to yourself. You have to be able to commit to your goals, your obligations, the tasks, the habits, the things that are going to put you in a better position. So I really want us to change the way that we think about the word discipline and start to think about it as a form of self-love. When you really love yourself and you really know your worth, you know your value, or you're trying to become this high value person, right? I was on my girl Jasmine's Instagram live yesterday, and we were talking about like the qualities of a high value woman, right? The things that this person needs to do. And one of the things that I talked about was becoming or identifying who you want to become, right? So creating this identity. The person that has this six figure or even like $1 million business, right? Like, how do they show up for themselves? How do you think that these people that have these successful careers or these banging ass bodies or these healthy relationships get into these situations? It's with discipline, it's with commitment, it's with consistency, right? So when you really truly love yourself, you know that all of the hard work, right? Because you can't get anything without work. Like let's just be real here, okay? Like nothing comes easy in this world. Nothing comes without putting the work in. And I'm not saying we need to sit here and be sweating and hustling and busting our asses and, working until we have nothing left. I'm not saying that, okay? I'm a self-care queen. So I'm not going to encourage you guys to work, 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 work. That's not the point here. The point is to have enough discipline where you can stay consistent and you can continue to show up for yourself. So say that one of your goals this year is to drop 20 pounds, right? And maybe you told yourself this week that you were going to go to the gym, let's say 3 days, okay? And one of them was Saturday, one of them was Sunday, and one of them was Tuesday, okay? Today, you told yourself you were going to go to the gym. Let's say that you did not make it to the gym any of those days. None of those days. You didn't show up. Whether that was because of work, whether that was because of stress, whether that was because of life circumstances, whether that was because of just being lazy, right? Not feeling like it, whatever it was, you clearly lack discipline to hold those commitments to yourself. And that's the problem. When we lack discipline and we continuously put things on the back burner and we continue to put things to the side, things that we told ourselves that we were going to do, things that we told other people that we were going to do, right? But let's take other people out of the equation for a second, right? The most important relationship, like I always talk about, is the relationship with yourself. So holding commitments to yourself and really living up to the standards, right? When we talk about self-love, we have to talk about standards. You have to have standards in your life. When we're talking about elevating, when we're talking about growing, when we're talking about evolving, you have to have some type of standards, okay? So if your standard is, I want to go to the gym at least 3 times a week, but you're not going any of the days, that means that you're not living up to your commitments and you're lowering your standards. So when we talk about self-love, do you see why these things go hand in hand, right? Because if you truly love yourself, you're going to show up for yourself. Think about the things that you require in a partnership, right? Specifically a romantic relationship. We want these people to have commitment to us, right? To be committed, to show up for us, to stay true to their word, to be honest, to do the things that they said they're going to do. So, why is it that you can expect your partner to do these things, but you can't do it for yourself? You're expecting this person to show up consistently for you and to do the things that you ask them to do, but you can't even show up consistently for yourself and do the things that you said you were going to do. That's crazy, right? And think about it. The more that you show up for yourself, the more that you keep promises to yourself, the more that you continue to do the things that you said you were going to do, that's just going to build more trust in yourself, which is going to build more confidence, right? When we're talking about self-love and confidence, they go hand in hand. So we have to work on ways that we can trust ourselves. How can you trust yourself when you keep telling yourself that you're going to do these things and you're not doing them? You're not following through, right? And it has to start with you. So if you're one of those people that's trying to manifest a loving, healthy, committed, honest relationship, first, that needs to start with you. Are you committed to yourself? Are you honest with yourself? Do you love yourself, right? Whatever you are, you're going to attract it. And we talk about this all the time. Whatever you are, you're going to attract it. So start having standards for yourself. So let's talk about levels of discipline, right? I don't want you to watch this or to listen to this and think that you have to become some like rigid, super strict, crazy OCD person that just thinks about a to-do list all day long. That's definitely not what I'm saying, okay? I think depending on what your specific goals are, that's going to depend on the level of discipline that you need to form within yourself, right? So again, going back to it being maybe weight loss, all right? So whatever it is that you want to commit to, whatever it is that you want to stick with, whatever it is that's realistic as well, we have to think about what's realistic in our lifestyle at this moment. Maybe going to the gym 5 days a week isn't realistic for you as far as like time, energy, all of that, right? Then maybe dial it down to two, dial it down to three, right? We have to set realistic goals for ourselves and really think about what can we commit to? What's going to help us to stay on track, right? Don't become this person that just sees everybody else doing these things and thinks that you need to do it as well, right? Like going back to the topic of like social media, which we talked about in the past, like it's so easy to go on social media and see people having this like aesthetic, this morning routine, waking up at 5 a.m., drinking a smoothie, going to the gym at 6 a.m., and then coming home and pulling out their laptop, walking on like one of those walking treadmill desks, right? Like maybe you don't have access to that. Maybe you can't afford that right now. Or maybe you're not a 5 a.m. girly, okay? And that's okay. Not everybody is meant to be a 5 a.m. girly. Not everybody's meant to work out at 6 a.m. Not everybody is meant to have the same type of structure and lifestyle. So that's why it's so important that you find what works for you and you find the schedule and you find the things that are going to be realistic within your schedule, right? And things that you can commit to. Again, going back to the word commitment, things that you could commit to so that you could stick with them and you can continue to build trust and confidence within yourself. If you told yourself that you were going to clean your apartment for the past week and you haven't cleaned it, why? Why haven't you cleaned it? Because you lack discipline. And with that lack of discipline, you're never going to get where you want to be. You said that you wanted to be someone who's more clean, more organized, right? More on top of things, keeping your space the way that you want to keep it because you know it makes you happy when your space is clean, but you're not following through, sis. Okay? So that's the thing. We have to start training our mind to overcome the excuses, the distractions, the negative self-talk, the thoughts that are going to provoke procrastination, right? Maybe scrolling is something that you're trying to get better at. Like you're on your phone every night until 1 a.m. scrolling. Why? Why are you on your phone till 1 a.m. scrolling? Because you lack discipline. That's why. Because you've continued to allow yourself to do it and there's no consequences. So I want to end this episode with 3 specific things that we can all do to become more disciplined. Okay. So, number one is going to be rewarding yourself when you stick to your commitment. So, this is a really good thing. Like, think about like children, right? Like, when children do something good, sometimes they're rewarded with a sticker, in school, whether that's like a sticker or it's more playtime with a game or a toy or something, or it could be a snack, right? And some people might view this as like, oh, you're bribing kids, like you're only giving them a reward so they can continue to do it. Well, yeah, that's the point. There's a lot of things that we don't want to do in life, okay? There's a lot of things that kids don't want to do and we have to kind of get them to do it, so we have to reward them. So think about yourself as a child that craves that reward, right? So whether that reward is, I don't know, going to Starbucks and getting like an iced matcha latte with coconut milk. I like that. That's my favorite. But yeah, whether that's going to Starbucks, getting your treat, whether that's allowing yourself a little extra time to scroll on Instagram, whether that's you finishing your work and then being like, okay, well, I'm going to watch a movie tonight. That's my reward. Okay. So find ways to reward yourself so that you can keep going. It's kind of like an incentive, right? So just find an incentive to keep going. The second way that we can create more discipline in our lives is to constantly remind yourself through images, through videos, through visuals, through a mood board, through a vision board, right? Of what you're trying to achieve. So if you have a specific body, and this could be in contrast to maybe something in the past that you have already achieved, that you've already done, and maybe you want to get back to it, right? It could be maybe you want to get back to taking at least 2 to 3 dance classes a week. Maybe you stop taking dance classes for whatever reason, right? So maybe that's something you want to get back to. So maybe putting on like a mood board or a vision board a picture of you dancing, or maybe having a picture on your lock screen of you dancing, something that's going to motivate you, that you can see often, that's going to push you in the direction of your goal. So don't be afraid to use visuals for that. And then the third way to build more discipline would be just getting someone to hold you accountable. So this could be a coach, a trainer, a friend. It could even be an app. So maybe your problem is scrolling, right? You're scrolling late, you're scrolling too much, you're scrolling too long. There's apps. I don't know exactly which ones because I don't use them. I don't really have that problem. I don't really be scrolling like that, to be honest with you. But there are apps that I've heard where it'll kick you off the app if you're on too long. I'm sure like you could set a timer or a time frame that you want to be on the app and then set it up that way. So just look at resources, like find resources. But I think the most efficient way to keep yourself disciplined is by having someone to hold you accountable. So again, going back to your goals, whether that's like fitness, right? Maybe getting a personal trainer, or if you want to build your confidence, right? You're looking to adapt more healthy habits, or if you want to read more, join a book club. So there's different ways that we can hold ourselves accountable, and whether that's by community, again, whether that's by something, that's artificially intelligent, like an app, or it could be a friend. Maybe a friend has similar goals as you, and you guys are both struggling with keeping those commitments and keeping yourself disciplined. So don't be afraid to reach out to people in your community, people in your circle, to just really express and be vulnerable. Like, hey, I'm struggling with holding these commitments. I'm struggling with doing this. I need your help. Can you hold me accountable? Can you text me every day at 7 a.m. and make sure that I'm on my way to the gym? Can you text me every Friday and make sure that I signed up for that dance class, right? Or can you text me and ask me, hey, did you meal prep? Whatever it is that you are working on. And again, like I said, this is not a one size fits all. Okay. Your goals don't have to be the same as someone else's goals. Okay. Your image or your dream life or your dream career, dream relationship does not have to be the same as the people that you're seeing on social media. So we have to stop thinking that, okay? Discipline is a form of self-love. When you love yourself, you show up for yourself, you honor your commitments, you continue to stay on track, you continue to see the results, right? I think that's the biggest thing, like seeing the results. And once you start seeing the results and you start seeing the changes within yourself, within your surroundings, within the people around you, I think discipline just becomes more easy over time, right? It becomes easier. It becomes something that's just integrated into your lifestyle, and then you don't have to really think about it as discipline. It just becomes a part of your lifestyle. It becomes habits. And going back to your identity, right? What identity do you want for yourself? What habits, what characteristics, what actions does that person take? What level of discipline does that person have? Okay, so these are some questions for you guys to meditate on. You can journal about them. You can put them in your journal. Speaking of journals, we are back in stock, baby. Okay. The journals are back in stock. You guys can order them directly from the website. There are limited stock, so make sure you grab yours ASAP. We have our forest green spiral, and then we also have the powder blue, baby blue hardcover copy. So make sure you guys go and grab those. On some real, guys, we should all be journaling. Like, this is probably the healthiest thing that we can do. And it's a great form of self love. When we're talking about self love, like pouring into yourself, releasing your thoughts, releasing your emotions. But don't just think about journaling as releasing or dumping like negativity or just venting about things going on in your life. Use it as a tool also to create, right? To plan, to manifest, to write down things that you want to improve in your life. And the thing that I love about my journals is that it encourages you to live a better, healthier lifestyle in general, not just sit there and like talk about, all the crazy things going on in your life, which is great. We also need that outlet, but also use the journal in a way to create a better life, to see yourself in a different light, to honor yourself, your body, your space, and yeah, just feel better about yourself. Like that's really the goal. So go grab the self-care guide, wellness journal directly from my website, realrhythmdanceandfitness.com. Okay, order yours ASAP. And yeah, that's pretty much it. If you guys are listening on Apple or Spotify, make sure you rate and review the podcast. 5 stars would be amazing. I appreciate you guys so much. And if you guys are watching on YouTube, make sure you hit that like button. If you enjoyed this conversation today, drop a comment. Let me know what your favorite part was today. And don't forget to subscribe if you're new to this channel. Don't forget, so you can get notified whenever I upload new episodes. Thank you guys so much. And I will catch you guys on the next episode on Friday.